YouTube, what's poppin'? This your boy Ink in the Brain, and we are back at Like a Bad Habit. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. I have another episode of my prison experience to share with y'all today, okay? So today, we're gonna be talking about my neighbor when I was on 2 Yard, how he became the methamphetamine plug. Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all about how he got the pack in, you know what I mean, and made his back end off the drug sales on the prison yard. You know what I mean? Oh, and he had a cell phone too. How he got the cell phone in too, right? So I know you guys are going to like this video, so just go ahead and hit the like button on the way in, man. All right, so at this point in time, you know what I mean, I'm on the 2 Yard, and my cell is in the very back of the dorm, and I don't have a neighbor on my right-hand side, you feel me? Matter of fact, I want to say I didn't have a neighbor to my right and my left, and I had a neighbor, I think that's what it was. Because at this time, the yard was thin. You feel me? So they had to import a lot more people onto the yard. You know what I mean? So I was enjoying my privacy. Well, there's really no privacy in prison, but I was enjoying not having no neighbors, right? But okay, cool. So I'm not really rocking with nobody. I'm not conversating with people like that. You feel what I'm saying? The only person I'm really rocking with is bro. In my last video, I was telling y'all about how he was studying like 7 hours a day, but he wasn't working out. But I respected his, his studying habits. So I was rocking with him. But other than that, I wasn't talking to nobody. People thinking I'm rude and I'm thinking I'm bougie and shit. And that blew my mind. On a side note, people really, if you just walk on your own and don't really conversate with people like that because you mind your own business, when you get down to a 2 Yard and shit like that, people won't go act like, oh, you acting bougie. Nigga, we in prison. I don't give a fuck about y'all. The fuck? But that's neither here nor there. But that blew my mind. Like, y'all really, y'all want attention from another man that bad on a prison yard? You niggas deserve to be locked up. But anyway. All right, so yeah. So boom, the shipment comes in. They bring the new people in, right? Now, they move Brody in on my right-hand side. He was old school. He was like 52 years old. I'm going to call him MJ for the video, right? He was like 51, 52 years old. Mexican cat, did a lot of time on prior yards in different years. You feel me? So he's seen what's going on higher yards. You feel me? He's been in riots. He got stabbed. He got stabbed in the inside of his arm, like near his elbow, and in a riot and shit. So he knows what's going on, right? So he touched down, and I'm minding my own business, right? But I peep what's going on, right? So you get your property on the second day. So the second day, he was on the yard. They bring him his property. Well, the TV comes back, and the TV is damaged. The TV don't work. So something happened in transit to where they may have dropped his TV or maybe spilled water on it and didn't tell him. I don't know, but it didn't turn on. And I remember seeing him clicking on it, like, what the fuck? And he started getting hella mad, right? And I'm like, oh shit, he got hot. So then I'm like, damn. So basically, long story short, he ended up filing a grievance through the state saying like, hey, y'all messed up my TV. And I already did an episode on the TV. You know, the TV costs $230. The TV is like an inmate's baby. Like, if you don't have no TV in the prison, bro, good luck. But so he was sick. He was sick behind that. So he filed a grievance, and I could tell he was kind of sick. You feel me? And I was just like, damn, man, what happened? Like he like, man, yeah, fuck my TV up. What do you want? I'm like, damn. I'm like, and he like, man, this yard weak as hell. He's like, man, he was like, I did time in Buckeye because he was on Murder Maury. There's a yard called Maury, right, which is a 4 Yard in Buckeye, Arizona, right, which it's hella popping. People getting stabbed. That's why I call it Murder Maury, because people getting bodied up there. So he like, man, I didn't been to Maury, and I done been in this yard, that yard. This yard soft as hell, man. What the fuck is up with this bootsy ass yard? And I started laughing. I'm like, bro, I know this yard bootsy as hell. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even a gangster or nothing, or thug or nothing. I don't sell drugs in the street or nothing like that, but I've been on a high 3 Yard, so I know the difference between a yard that's legit and a yard that's bootsy as hell, right? So I'm like, man, I feel you, bro. He's like, man, he was like, I ain't gonna lie. He's like, I'm just about to crash out. They could just send me back to the 3 yard. He's like, the first person who talks crazy to me, I'm just gonna take off on that nigga. He didn't say nigga, obviously, but I'm just gonna take off on him and so I can get off the yard. Now, I want just to pause for a second, y'all. I want y'all to think about this. So this is going back to the prisoner's mindset, right? When you're used to doing a lot of time and you get to a bootsy ass yard like this, you're damn near ready to catch more time just to go back to a higher yard so you can just run your program how you want, watch your TV when you want, you don't have to work, the politics are popping so you don't have to worry about weirdos being next to you and things like that, right? And they're going to be more, I'm just going to be real, they're going to be more careful with your stuff because they know on a 3 or 4 yard, if they fuck up your TV, it's going up. So I understood where he was coming from, but he was mad behind that. So, long story short about that, he filed the grievance and they actually called him in and he was telling the CO, like when he was talking, he was like, yo, y'all messed up my TV. I didn't ask to come to this yard. He was like, man, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The first second I get, I'm gonna hurt somebody in here really bad. I might end up poking somebody. He was like basically threatening him, like, I'm gonna hurt somebody in here. You feel me? If y'all don't make this shit right. So they gave him a TV. Yeah, they ended up giving him a loaner TV. You know what I'm saying? Which a loaner TV in the state's eyes is when a man goes home from prison and he just donates his TV, they hold him. So he ended up getting a TV. So I respected bro because of that. You know what I mean? He pressed the line on the COs. He told, hey, he's like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna hurt somebody if y'all don't make this shit right. You know what I mean? And I respected that. So then, okay, cool. Now, I still wasn't hella talkative and shit like that just because he was my neighbor. But at least, you know, we had a conversation and now we good, right? So now, going back to this 2 yard I was on, right? Well, on any 2 yard, really, they're going to make you work. So I'm working in the kitchen at this point. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I did previously mention that, but I'm working in the kitchen, right? And he ended up getting a job in the kitchen now, too. So now he in the kitchen working with me, right? So now it's to the point where, like, look, I'm not an asshole, okay? Now, I hate prison. I hate every single thing about prison. I'm not there to make friends or be cordial with people. So if I didn't say hi to you in passing, even though I know who you are or things like that, it's nothing personal, bro. It's just we locked up, so I don't give a fuck about you like that. But now with Brody, he's my neighbor. We work together. Okay, cool. I can have some kind of camaraderie with bro now. You know what I'm saying? Now, days go on. We start chopping it up just about little shit. Like, you know, what were you doing on the streets? The yards we've been on. Women, you know, sports, shit like that, right? So now I'm starting to get to know dude a little bit better, right? So come to find out, bro is one of them ones, man. Bro's one of them ones. He's a real heavy drug dealer on the streets, and he didn't rob. That's one thing I really respected about him. He did not rob. He did not rob, right? He just a straight hustler, right? But he was known to play with them guns and pull triggers and put bullets inside of human bodies as well, if you dig what I'm saying, right? So I'm like, okay, bro, serious. So fast forward, you know, now here's the crazy thing, right? He was only doing a 2.5 year bid or like a 3 year bid. And he was on his last year, right? Now, yeah, he was on his last year, right? But he knows the drug game because he's been down before and he knows how shit is, right? He saw an opportunity to capitalize on. Well, what you mean by that, Yankee? Well, this time, on this 2 yard I was on, it was dry as hell. There was no drugs, which is great for if you want to do your time in peace and go to a yard with no drugs. That's where you want to be at. But there was no drugs on the yard. There wasn't even no spice on the yard, which spice is synthetic marijuana. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't nothing. You feel me? There was only alcohol. So he saw opportunity to capitalize. He's like, the yard is dry, and people love methamphetamine in the prison system. Just because it's not there on the yard doesn't mean your clientele won't be jumping if you got it on the yard, right? So he saw opportunity, right? So he started telling me, as the days go on, right? Now this is over a course of about like a 3-month span, right? And I'm just encompassing this in one video for y'all. So days go on, he's like, man, the yard dry. He's like, man, you know how much I can make off of some meth up in here? Because you can mark up methamphetamine crazy. Now, I'm not going to get into the specific numbers, but just know it's like a 3 times whatever you charge on the street, you can charge 3 to 4 times in the penitentiary. So it's easy money. And it's going to go like this because people love to get high. People love to get high in prison. It is what it is. So this is what he did, right? He collaborated. Okay, he got contacts on the streets. He collaborated with a couple of contacts on the streets. I don't know how he fucking did it. I don't know if it was through his tablet or the phone or writing him a letter. But basically, he told him, look, I need an ounce of methamphetamine, right? And I need a cell phone. You dig what I'm saying? Now, we up in Winslow. Well, it's a Winslow designated yard, but technically the city is St. John's, Arizona, right? That's where Apache unit is, St. John's, Arizona. Now, his connects are in Phoenix, Arizona. So this is like a 2.5, 3 hour drive, right? But anyway, he said, look, I need an ounce of meth and I need a cell phone. And I'm going to pay y'all whatever y'all need, right? So they drive up. And he gave them directions, right? To the cemetery. Actually, before I get there, right? So this is how you collaborate, right? So on a 2-yard, like I said, you can go on outside crews and work outside the gate. So he made friends with a dude who had an outside job and told him, look, if I paid you X amount of money, are you down to do this? Dude was with it. So that's how he got his outside dude to get the drugs and the phone, right? But anyway, so he gave him directions to drive up to the military, drive up to the cemetery, throw it over the fence at a certain location, and he told the dude who was a worker where they was gonna throw it, right? So that's what they did. They drove the ounce of meth up, and they got a cell phone. It's called a peanut. It's the size of your pinky. It's literally like this big. It's maybe a little bit bigger than your pinky, but it's like this big, right? And he threw it in I think it was wrapped up like in a balloon, in like one of those canisters that holds like, what am I trying to say? Like a canister that holds pills, you know what I'm saying? Like a medical pill. So that's what he fit all of it in there, right? Threw it over, or something to that effect, something to that, like a canister that's big enough to be like a medicine thing. Threw it over, right? So long story short, and my famous line, I'm not trying to make this video too long, but long story short, he ended up getting it, right? Because dude, he worked over there. I don't know if they was working exactly at the cemetery, but it definitely was in proximity, and he was able to wiggle around and get it. And he told him, walk a certain amount of yards this way to get it, right? So he got it, snuck it in, boom, got it in, right? So one day we at work, right? And he just smiling. He's smiling like a motherfucker. I'm like, damn. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, it touched down. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, it touched down. I'm like, no, I say it ain't so, man. He's like, watch. He's like, why? So, man, we get back to the cell. Man, he showed me the shit. Ounce. I ain't never even seen. I think this might have been like. I think I seen meth like one time before this, but this is the first time I've seen methamphetamine in a large amount, and it was like a nice amount. You feel me? It was an ounce. You feel me? So he showed it to me like I was sitting down watching TV or something like that, and he just reached over my desk and put his hand like that, and I saw him in his hand. I was like, oh shit. He's like, yeah. I'm like, damn, okay, boom. So he got his ounce on the yard, right? So again, I'm I don't know if you have the phone, but collaborate with his people in Phoenix to go get an ounce of meth and a phone, drive up to St. John's, Arizona, to the cemetery, throw it over the fence at a certain angle or a certain, distance. He told the worker to get it. Worker got it. I think he might put it in his ass to get it in or whatever the case is, right? And then boom. And then he paid him, I think he paid him $500. Matter of fact, he had his people just wire $500 into his account. Like, it paid him $500 to do it, right? So now he's in the yard with a cell phone and an ounce of a G. So, yeah, and he showed me the phone too. Like I said, tiny phone. It's like a flip phone. So he had you could buy headbands on the yard. So I was seeing him spin in the yard when we would go to the yard, and he would have a headband on with his cell phone under his headband so the cameras can't see it. And, if you walking, you talking, I mean, they might just think you crazy. But, yeah, man, he got the cell phone and the meth in the yard, you feel me? And then, now, when this happened, like when he actually got the cell phone and the meth on the yard, because I think I met him in like October of 2022. No, excuse me, October 2021 is I think when he landed on the yard. But the meth didn't get there until right before I went home, which was like I went home in February of 2022, but he probably got it late January of 2022, right? So I'm like, damn, okay. So I'm sure he got the yard popping. Now, I actually ended up looking him up on the inmate locator, and he got a ticket for getting caught with contraband. So I'm thinking there's probably a snitch on the yard who told him what was going on, and they didn't find the dope, or maybe he sold out the dope, but they found the cell phone, and then they shipped him back to Buckeye. They shipped him to not Maury, but they shipped him to Steiner, which is a 3-yard, man. So yeah, so I just thought it was crazy, man, because for somebody to take this amount of risk, right, and only have like a year left to do is pretty crazy. It shows me that you're stuck. You're going to come back to the penitentiary. That's what that shows me. It shows me you're only looking at money in the short-term way, not the long-term way. Because yes, you can quadruple your money in prison, but is it really worth catching another trafficking case or another, drug possession case? Because getting caught with an ounce of methamphetamine in the prison system is going to get you another street charge, and you're going to get another 4.5 years for that. So I just thought it was crazy for them to take that chance, because I'm not taking no chance like that with 1 year. And that's why 2 yards are soft, because everybody got below 5 years. So are you really going to stab somebody in the neck if they disrespect you? Some may, but a lot won't. Are you really going to, line it up with 5 people because you did something that, it's just certain things are going to happen off top on a 3 or 4 yard for the most part, but it ain't going to happen on a 2 yard. But that's why 2 yards are soft. But he saw an opportunity to capitalize on financially, and he did. And yeah, man. But yeah, so if you're on a 2 yard and you get an outside job, just know you got some wiggle room to wiggle around, man. But I'm going to leave it at that. But look, this your boy Ink in the Brain. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, man. Y'all be smooth and be solid.